Hi guys, my name is Noni Matikela. Welcome to the Noni M podcast. So today, I want us to talk about things that were unfolding the entire. I want us to talk about things that were unfolding this past week, and I want us to focus to everything that happened because of the ad hoc committee. There is a lot that is happening at once in South Africa. But okay, I saw an article this morning. It's Sunday, the 12th of October. I saw an article there by News 24, and I think it's also by City Press. It says Senzo Mchunu mounts legal challenge against unlawful police raids. Unlawful police raids, intimidation. So let's see. Senzo Mchunu has launched a legal challenge against KwaZulu-Natal police through Werkman's attorneys, demanding details of a search warrant used in a controversial operation at his residence this week. The police investigation centers on allegations that Mchunu conspired with businessmen Vusumuzi, Ket Matlala, and Brown Mokgotsi to disband the political killing task team after the unit questioned Matlala about a kidnapping case in December 2024. Mchunu faces corruption and fraud charges stemming from contradictory statements to Parliament about his relationship with Mokgotsi and allegations that Matlala financially supported his political campaign in exchange for disbanding the task team. I know, there is a lot. And all of this comes after that explosive media briefing that was done by Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, the KZN police commissioner. You guys would remember that. So all of this is coming after he has done all of that. All right. So suspended police minister Senzo Mchunu has launched a legal challenge against what his attorneys described as an intimidation and defamation campaign by KwaZulu-Natal police following controversial search and seizure operation at his residence earlier this week. It is a strongly worded letter dated 9th October. Law firms Werkman's attorneys accused members of having provincial police of attempting to conduct an improper search of the minister's home on 8th October, demanding immediate access to the warrant authorizing the operation. This letter addressed to National Police Commissioner General Fanima Semula raises serious concern about the validity of the search warrant and described the police actions as being part of a broader pattern of intimidation. It's funny how these police tontons, whether the minister, chief of staff, or whatever, when these things are done to them, they want us as South Africans to be concerned over them. But these things are done to normal citizens, to civilians, and they are supposed to comply. So why is it a problem when these things are done to them? They come back to them. The same method, the methodology that is used against South Africans who are not, who don't even have the awareness or the knowledge about. Some of them don't know what is a search warrant. Some of them don't know their rights when it comes to when police arrive at your house, what needs to happen, how it needs to happen. We don't know those things. All we know is that the police can come and kick your doors and come in. They can come with a strong, disrespectful knock and at your house and then enter, and then you must accept that. They must do the searching whether there is a warrant or not. They don't care. And sometimes it's midnight to other houses. It has never happened to my home or people that are my family members, but it has happened to people that I know in places that I lived at. But you would see that they will come in the wee hours of the morning or of the night, and they will come disrespectful and do. Others are on top of the house, jumping fences and all of that, surrounding the house, and they live with nothing. They live with nothing. Yet when it happens to them now, people must be concerned for them. Okay, anyway, let's read. According to the correspondence, similar operations were conducted at the premises of Lieutenant General Shadrack Sibiya, while police also went to the wrong address of his Chief of Staff, Cedric Nkabinde. The attorneys claimed that Masemula acknowledged knowing of the operation during testimony before a parliamentary ad hoc committee, lending credibility to their client's version of events. The law firm has issued 2 key demands to the police commissioner, an undertaking that he and his members will cease actions perceived as intimidation or defamation against Minister Mchunu, and provision of a copy of the search and seizure warrant by 10 a.m. on the 10th October 2025. Okay, so now this part is making me come to terms in understanding why the chief of staff was doing the what you call the media briefing, because I was confused about what's going on. So there were these search warrants that were happening in their houses. Oh, okay, now we get it. But okay, we will see. The letter carries a clear threat of urgent court proceedings should the demands not be met within the specified time frame. We demand a copy of the search and seizure warrant by 10 a.m. The tight deadline underscores the seriousness with which Mchunu's legal team is treating the matter, suggesting they believe they have strong grounds to challenge the police operation. But wait, then if the letter is there, what happens? If the letter is there, the search warrant is there, then what happens? In background to the allegations, in an application for the search of Mchunu's devices deposed by Brigadier William Kunene, the investigating officer in the case listed Mchunu, Sibiya, and business people Vusumuzi Matlala and Brown Mokgotsi as suspects. Kunene alleges that digital evidence extracted from Matlala's cell phone reveals a conspiracy to disband the provincial killings task team after the unit questioned him about a kidnapping case in December 2024. Key messages between Matlala and Mokgotsi include damning communications about the disbandment. And I quote, "I have arranged a meeting for Sibiya and the minister. They must have a solution," Brown Mokgotsi allegedly wrote to Matlala. In another message, Mokgotsi stated, "The task team that came to your house and harassed you have been dissolved. They got the letter on Monday. As we speak, they are bringing all dockets to Sibiya." And all of these events, if you remember, already happened. So if these communications are anything to go by, they are speaking to exactly what Mkhwanazi was talking about. Kunene notes that these conversations took place on the 1st of January 2025, the day after Mchunu issued his instruction to disband the political killings task team on the 31st December 2024. The political killings task team, Kunene told the Johannesburg High Court that the task team was established in 2018 by President Cyril Ramaphosa through an interministerial committee to investigate politically motivated killings in KwaZulu-Natal. By December, the unit had been allocated 333 political-related dockets, covering 171 murder cases involving 173 deaths. 50 attempted murder cases, 79 intimidation cases, 9 conspiracy to commit murder cases, and 24 other cases. The murders include 59 councillors, 58 political party members, 31 political party office bearers, and 25 municipal officials. Ministers' contradictory statements. The fraud allegations against Mchunu stem from contradictory statements he made to Parliament about his relationship with Mokgotsi. During a portfolio committee on police meeting on 5 March 2025, Mchunu denied knowing Mokgotsi when questioned by KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. The affidavit stated that after Mkhwanazi's media briefing on 6 July exposing the allegations, Mchunu changed his stance. On 9th July 2025, and after Mkhwanazi's press briefing, Mchunu rejoined on his earlier denial of knowledge of Mokgotsi during the portfolio committee on police on 5th March 2025 and stated that he knows him and that he is a comrade and not an associate, Kunene stated in his affidavit. So there is a letter that went to Johannesburg High Court. So these people, when they are demanding and acting as if it's not there. Financial support allegations were also there, defying the national commissioner. Like there's a lot of things that are happening. We will go to that in a separate video. But in a nutshell, what I'm saying is that it's funny how these police people, these police department people They know about the things that happened in the police department. When they same methodology is used against them, they cry foul play. That is unfair to normal citizens. That is unfair to civilians. They need to get the same treatment also. Then perhaps we will stop questioning things if we are all treated equal. Anyway, what are your thoughts when it comes to this? I will see you on our next video. Enjoy your day. Bye-bye.